Okay, I'm going.
I'm going.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. It's a little bit delay, but like it actually worked when I like synced it up.
Amen.
All right, so Elliott, what are we here? What are we doing?
Listen, guys, I don't know how I got drug into this again, but let me tell you, we're getting
You
ready.
wanted to do this.
Yeah, I did want to do this. I did. Well, we had a lot of good positive feedback from the last episode from a lot of people, so I think that that's good, especially for your podcast. I'm not gonna say I made it better.
Well, we got 10 streams off of it, and usually I average like 3.
Yeah.
3, so come on.
Yeah, for sure. So that's good. So I think that that was a good thing that we did last time, and let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Do you think we can strike gold twice? Do you think lightning can strike in the same spot two in a row?
I mean, here's the thing: you never know until you try. So we're going to be giving our best efforts here today. But we're going to be talking about something a little bit different here today, Nate. What is that we are going to be talking about today?
It looks like Marvel movies.
Oh man,
as a whole. Now it's not only like Marvel Studios like Disney, but it's also Fox and Sony, and what all those different production companies have been doing with the Marvel property.
Amen. And this is gonna get hairy, my friend. That's all I gotta say. But I'm excited.
I'm excited too. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear your takes on a lot of stuff because you haven't been around for the past 2 years, and
that is true.
We used to talk about it constantly. So I want to see where your head's at with everything going on. I know where my head's at.
It's not positive. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I wanna see how you're feeling about everything. So
yeah,
I can give you guys have probably heard Nate's.
Honestly, you take the reins of this because you make the scripts here. So just start off every topic.
All right. I'm just gonna go into a little bit about my own Marvel background. So, growing up, I was not a Marvel guy. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't until Infinity War came out that was the first Marvel movie I ever watched in theater.
What?
Yes, dude. Isn't that insane?
No, you're making that up.
I promise you.
No way.
I promise you. So
you waited that long to see one of those? What do you wait on, like Disney Plus or something? You watch it on
Disney
DVD?
Plus didn't even exist then. I just didn't care. The only reason I went and watched a Marvel movie was because my Spanish teacher gave extra credit if you bought your movie stub back to class because that opening weekend, if you brought it to class on Monday, you got extra credit for going and watching Infinity War.
That's insane.
So that's how I got into Marvel,
that's insane,
absolutely insane. So, ever since then, I've loved it. And
really?
Yeah, I have just loved it so much, and I guess with a story like that, I think it's what makes me love it even more because it's so just like, dude, what the heck?
Marvel has been going on for 15-20 years now.
Yeah.
Since 2008?
Yeah.
So we're a couple years from now, we're gonna be up at 20 years of Marvel.
Crazy, but don't get me wrong. I had seen the OG Spider-Mans and but I never watched an MCU movie. I had never watched one of those before then. I'm talking Iron Man. I had not watched any of that stuff. I just didn't. I had no interest.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
I watched the first Avengers with my grandfather in theaters, and then with my friends in theaters, and that was in 2012. That's crazy to hear. What, Infinity War came out in 2018?
Yeah. So I guess it would be junior year of high school for me. That's what it would have been. So crazy stuff. But yeah, that a little bit about my Marvel, birth. I guess you would call it my fandom birth.
Yep. The inception of all of it.
Yeah, so it's crazy to think that my love for Marvel has grown so much since then, but I love it so much. I love everything.
Now, do you like the characters, comics, storylines, movies?
Well, I wasn't, like I said, I had zero experience with Marvel until I got into junior year of high school, but when I got
the characters and everything,
obviously I knew Captain America, I knew all that
you know
stuff.
who they were,
But like I didn't like DC. I didn't like none of that stuff. I was just like a sports kid. Like I didn't really, get into like movies and stuff until junior, senior year of high school. But it's just crazy to me. Like, it's so
That's
wild.
crazy. Like I have like I don't want to bring them all out, but they're like character encyclopedias,
Right.
of like Marvel. Like I've had these things since I was a kid.
Oh wow. Yeah, there you go.
like books worth of stuff. So that's pretty interesting.
But so once I hit that Infinity War and I got that Infinity War high, like so many people did, I got right onto YouTube and I look up like, oh, explain this, and New Rockstar showed up, and so
Eric
freaking Voss, that man is my hero.
I can't stand that guy.
He's my hero.
God.
So that dude has helped me build my philosophy on Marvel. So that's kind of how I got into it. But that's a little bit about that. So now we're gonna get into the top 3 worst and top 3 best of Marvel. So
and this is a good way to start off this conversation, because like this is where our heads are at.
Exactly.
I like this.
Perfect. So like this is gonna span over, as Nate said, we're talking Fox, Sony, Disney, we're hitting it all. So
okay. So it says top 3 worst and best of Marvel. Are we doing like top 3 worst of Fox, Sony, and Disney, or is it just all of them combined?
Let's just put them all in a pile now, since it's all.
I was about to say, because that would take
multiverse
so
now.
long.
It's all a multiverse now. It's all the same thing. So
now, are we including Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
I would say that's fair game. I would say it's fair game.
Okay. All right, well, let's do it then.
All right, you want to go first?
We'll both do like our top bottom 3 and then top 3.
All right.
Does that work?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I want to hear your bottom 3 first.
So my bottom 3, I'm gonna start out with something newer, and it is going to be a show, and that is She-Hulk. What a disaster! What a disaster! I was so interested in the start, and then it just all crumbled, and I was just screaming in my heart at Kevin Feige to just stop. Just please, dear God, stop.
From right now, talking right now, that's the only MCU property I've never seen, so I can't even tell you what that's all about.
It's awful, dude. Like, just from the CGI to the overall just storyline, and they were trying to be very political driven agenda. It was just rough. That's
annoying.
Very rough.
Interesting. What's your other 2 here?
Number 2, I hate to say it, but sometimes you just have to leave stuff dead, and for that I am going to say the Black Widow movie as my number 2 worst.
Oh, man.
It's not that it was bad. It's just so forgettable for a character that we all loved. And how they just ruined Taskmaster, and that itself just turned me off.
I know.
It was just how am I supposed to carry on, knowing that Taskmaster is this? And, this is what I don't... I love Yelena. I'm happy she was introduced. I loved her in Hawkeye, but good Lord, that pissed me off watching that. Oh man. So
far, all female driven.
I'm not, I'm not pointing fingers or whatever.
I'm excited to hear this third one then.
I've thought about this for a while, and I had a lot of other conversations with other Marvel aficionados over the past few years about it. I've watched it again since my original thought on the film, and I keep coming to the same conclusion, and it's just what in the world was going through the producers' heads when they made Hulk?
Oh, the Incredible Hulk?
What was going on?
You're joking. I like that one. You're going to have to defend this.
I'm going to defend this. We have one of, if not the most iconic Marvel characters ever.
Yeah.
It is the second film in Phase 1, correct?
I'm listening, yeah.
And that's what we do?
It's very weird because it's the forgotten movie of the MCU.
Wait. That's what we do for him. Are you kidding me? I would have rather watched that show from the 80s, The Hulk, than that movie.
No way.
Are you serious?
No way. I like that one. I thought it was okay.
I love the Abomination. I love the idea of the Abomination. But, like, Hulk just wasn't Hulk to me in that movie. He was out in La La Land half the time.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong.
And I wish they would have just casted Mark Ruffalo to start. I think I would have had a better like perspective of the movie, but like the fact that they had to do a casting change for one of the most iconic Marvel characters shows you just how bad it was. They had to get another man to do it. It's unreal to me. And
no way, dude. Okay, I like The Incredible Hulk. I think it's a good movie. It came out like a couple months after Iron Man, the first Iron Man, and like I don't think anybody like saw it, mostly because they just thought Iron Man was so good. And plus,
that's true.
I feel like I don't know. No way. I like The Incredible Hulk.
I want to, and I've said I've watched it multiple times since my original watching of that movie, but every time I turned it on, I'm just like sad. Because I want it to be so good.
It's a good movie. What are you talking about? I think it's okay.
It's for what it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to do for a character. It's just like for someone of that magnitude. I can't do it. So that's my 3. Take it or leave it. I'm not hating on Hulk. I'm just saying it is not what it's supposed to be.
Hulk, She-Hulk, and Black Widow.
And here's the thing. The thing. It's not that I hate any of these because, like, as a Marvel fan, I think like we have to say like somewhere like, oh, it's fine. That's just kind of the whole charade. But like, also like, that's what we're putting out for that. So that's my take on that. But.
All right, well, after Elliott's bottom 3 Marvel projects, I haven't seen She-Hulk. Black Widow was bad, and The Incredible Hulk I think is a good, okay movie, but it's nowhere near the top though.
Okay. It's
probably on the bottom half, but I don't know if I could put it as like bottom 3.
Right.
My bottom 3 starting off, and this is when you sent this script, I was like, yep, this is my bottom 3. This is I know exactly what, at least the one of them that I know what it would be. Is Iron Man 2. I think Iron Man 2 has the most insane storyline of all time.
It is out there.
It makes absolutely no sense. There's multiple villains. There's multiple things going on. I did a deep dive on my on my YouTube, and I literally point out the fact that like the race in Santa Monica, or whatever, or Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco.
Yeah. Like the movie just cuts to that location. it has no build up. It has no it has no intention of changing gears like that. No one even talks about the race until we're there, and that might be like a micro, very small sample of like why that movie is bad. I just do not like that movie at all. I brought up like the list of Marvel projects because there's so many of them,
right?
And I'm looking at, I think I'm going to say 2 words to you as my second movie, and you, I know for a fact, are not going to enjoy these 2 words. Okay?
Yeah, let me hear them.
And those 2 words are Thor Ragnarok. I think that Thor Ragnarok is the cataclysm of the downfall of Marvel. I think bringing in Taika Waititi for that movie and changing the whole perspective on Thor and the Hulk was the worst thing that Marvel could have ever done in their entire lives. They had such a great streak going with movies in their own section of the Marvel universe. Everything was a little bit different. Everything you had, like Ant-Man was a heist movie. Avengers, you get your stupid comic book goodness. Iron Man was kind of like for those guys that drink Monster Energy, and then Thor was for like I think of mythology and Norse godism or whatever. You know, we're in Asgard or whatever.
That Lord of the Rings crowd. Those
Thor, yeah, like fantasy.
There
you
go.
You get to Thor Ragnarok, and like it's just another Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It's just another space opera that harkens back to some retro 80s vibes. Even have the immigrant song, and if you watch one of their teasers, it's like that. It's like the different colors like echoing like on the title. I don't know what that's called, but Thor Ragnarok is the start of the downfall of Marvel. And then Taika Waititi, this isn't my third one, but Taika Waititi repeated it in Thor: Love and Thunder, and everybody hated that one. It's like, you guys loved the first one and you guys hate the second one. Like, hello, what's going on? Thor Ragnarok is the exact same thing as Thor: Love and Thunder, and vice versa. Both of those movies are terrible, but Love and Thunder is not my third though.
Okay.
And then I think what my third would probably be like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay, that's fair.
Like Ant-Man, Quantumania, both of them. But I think the first one's okay.
Yeah,
but probably either of those.
Okay.
I like Eternals.
Eternals is like sitting right there, like 4 or 5 for me. What is that? And who are these people? And why do I need to know them all?
Black Widow, it kind of worked for me. I thought it was okay. I just saw the Marvels and it was just dumb fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would have to go Iron Man 2, Thor Ragnarok, and Ant-Man, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Yeah, that's the Thor Ragnarok is it. I understand where you're coming from a perspective of how it like essentially has ruined everything since after. But I love the dynamic between Thor and Hulk so much in that movie that it just makes me like I don't know why, but I really love Thor Ragnarok.
To each their own, I guess. I think that dynamic is awful, but
oh my lord, how?
I think that movie is just so bad. I cannot stand what it all stands
for. I mean, like you said, to each their own. But I mean,
to each their own.
I would also add to both of our list. We actually watched some of this together, but it just triggered in my head. Falcon Winter Soldier.
I like that one.
Oh, you like that one?
What, looking back, I liked it. Yeah.
Wow, I like how they introduced like the Patriot or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
But like,
I think that's cool.
Just like how it ended, just left a really bad taste in my mouth. Just
true.
Like I understand that they're trying to do like Thunderbolts or whatever the heck they're trying to set up, but like
or whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah, but we'll get into what's going on later. But I don't know. For me, I expected a lot more. I was kind of like hoping for like that civil like Captain America Civil War kind of vibe. It was kind of it gave a little bit with like when they brought in Xena or what's that guy's name?
Baron Zemo.
Yeah, Zemo. But like then they made him funny, and that's where your Thor
that's where he's like,
Hulk thing comes back into play, Ragnarok thing.
Right.
Like it's not supposed to be funny. But
right.
Let's stop hating for a second and let's bring some love back into this podcast.
We need some positivity.
Though people be hating on this franchise, my God, has it delivered some fantastic moments. And let me start off by giving you my top 3 Marvel projects, in my opinion. So, to start
top 3.
off,
now we're in top 3.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna do top 3 right here. Okay, so to start off, I'm throwing some nostalgia at you guys. It may not be the greatest produced film of all time, but give me Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I keep on forgetting that we're doing more than MCU. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Green Goblin is the freaking best Spider-Man villain, hands down, and he's just so good. It is exactly what you think of early 2000s kind of like. It is just such a staple in Marvel. Like for several people, like Toby, like that whole aesthetic is like people build their lives off of that, man.
Oh, it's a classic.
Easy. It's insane. And so it's so good. It's so rewatchable. The memes, I'm not trying to be like one of those kids or whatever, but they're funny.
Yeah.
And I'll always have a special place in my heart for that
For
Spider-Man.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Ah, it's so good.
Yep.
Number 2, going back to my earlier statement, I got Infinity War. I mean, it got me some extra credit back in the day. So shout out Mr. Colbert. Shout out Mr. Colbert.
So funny.
I'm gonna plug Mr. Colbert right there. I appreciate the extra credit. No way he remembers doing that, but it happened. It happened. But you know, that was like, you know, my first Marvel film I saw like on a big screen, and like I saw Captain America, and then you see Iron Man, and then like I see Spider-Man. It's like, oh my god, it's like it's all there in one thing. And that's just it's just so amazing to see. And I just think about it, like I went with my family, like I just remember coming out of the theater like, oh my god, like these are actually so good, like, and like the characters are so good, and it's like that's when I fell in love. So that one, I don't think that one will ever like waver for me on that list.
No, probably not.
And it's just so good, and I just love it so much. But coming in at number 1 on my Marvel list all time,
Come on.
it is the first movie in Phase 1, Iron Man. Holy cow! When I heard Back in Black.
Yes.
When I hear Back in Black, it's the first thing I think of. I don't think of anything. I don't think about AC/DC. I think of Tony freaking Stark and how awesome he is. It is so good. I can literally like remember. I watched it with my cousin after, you know, I found, you know, Marvel and everything. I'm just sitting there. We're in our basement. We have this massive TV, and I just remember seeing the part when Tony Stark lifts his arms up and those missiles go off behind him, and I was like, oh my god, this dude is my hero. And I love the red and yellow. I love the arc reactor. He's just such an icon. Robert Downey Jr. was, I think that's their best casting ever. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh yeah, one easily.
And it's just, you know, I hate that they had to recast. What's his name? I can't even think of his name.
War Machine.
Yeah, I was gonna say War Machine, but I was gonna Rhodey.
Yeah.
I hate they had to recast him because I thought he was good. But whatever situation went on with that, you know, I don't know. But they still recasted him great. So if you can recast someone that was already good and find someone that's even better, that just shows you your product was, you know, pretty good.
That's true.
So, sorry to glaze.
That was an interesting top 3. That was a very interesting Sam Raimi Spider-Man, Infinity War, and then Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
It's an interesting top 3. I like that.
It's very Iron Man heavy, but Iron Man and Spider-Man are my 2 favorites. So that's why they're gonna be up there.
Obviously, yeah. My top 3, and I've wrestled with this for a while, and if we're gonna encompass like all of the Marvel things, that just like expands it even more. I think the first one, I don't think I could go in order because it really depends on the day. But I think the first one I want to say first is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That movie pretty much changed my life. Watching that, I was so blown away by I was so blown away by everything that happened in that movie. And like, there's so much that happened that I can't even name you a single scene that like actually happened.
Right.
It's like there's just so much going on. There's always an inner dialogue between like what's better, Into or Across. Into is just might be a classic from now on.
It is a classic.
And then if the trilogy can continue and they stick the landing, then I truly think this could be one of the best movie trilogies of all time. Especially animation, especially superhero. I really like Across because I think it expands everything.
Right, it broadens everything to see just how big the multiverse is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that the movie creators did such a good job with
they
that
did
one.
And the soundtrack, oh my god,
oh my goodness, yeah,
Metro Boomin killed it. I was listening to
so good,
was it Calling Me or whatever, the one I was listening to that Sway Lee one today, and I was just like, this was a song in a movie. This wasn't just like somebody was like, you know, put this on an album. Like, this was made for a film.
Yeah,
unreal.
And it's crazy because most songs like made for movies like aren't like super good.
Yeah.
But like the first soundtrack and then this next one is just off the charts.
Unbelievable for sure.
I'm thinking of the second one that I want to include, and there's so many things that I love. I'm gonna have to go Infinity War as well.
There we go.
It is probably the most well-made Marvel movie I've seen, at least MCU. I think juggling all the different characters, all the different storylines, all the different plots going on, and like converging into one seems such a massive task that only the Russo brothers, only Marvel could have done.
For sure.
With like they juggled like 20, 25 characters all doing different things and all putting them into different, locations, whatever, and making it all work and not making it all feel scrambled, even under a 3-hour runtime.
Unbelievable.
It feel like they did more in a 2.5 hour runtime than Endgame did in a 3-hour runtime.
For sure.
Which is crazy. So I love Infinity War. It's a fantastic Marvel movie and very rewatchable.
Oh, for sure.
Every scene sucks you in. Now is like weird because goodness, I could say so many different things, so many different movies, so many different TV shows.
Yeah.
There's a couple that stick out to me, like Endgame, like Spider-Man: Far From Home, like Shang-Chi. Or Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah, I was gonna say Far From Home, brother. What are we talking about?
not Far From Home. Spider-Man: No Way Home. Dude, I legitimately don't think I can narrow this down. You said Fox, Sony. I don't think anything from Sony. Definitely not any of those Venom movies. Venom 2 would probably be on my worst. And more.
I would say that, but like the fact that we watched those together in theater makes them I will love them forever. I just they're so bad.
I can't.
And see, that's the thing. That's the thing that Marvel can do. They could put out something so bad, but they know that people are gonna watch that, and like they're just gonna they're gonna watch it. So like they don't care. And honestly, you know what? Thank you, Marvel, for Venom 2 and Morbius.
No, I don't say thank you at all for those movies. I hate those movies, dude. I want to say the first Iron Man. I want to say the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm gonna have to say the first original Avengers.
Okay, that's fair.
That scene, it's kind of dated, honestly, but I think it's a gem of the past. And like the different dialogue and the different if you told me or even if you told Marvel, like you're going to be juggling 25 more characters than you were in the first Avengers, they would have called you crazy.
Exactly.
And even it looks like they're on all hands on deck for trying to create this first Avengers movie, and they pulled it off, and they pulled it out very well.
Right.
I really love the first Avengers. I think it's probably the most rewatchable MCU movie.
Yeah.
I just the different characters, different storylines, everything going on in the first Avengers, and everything just seems so sincere in that movie. So I really like that one.
Yeah, I can't say anything bad about that because it is the culmination of just like their first phase, and it's so awesome.
Exactly. Everybody thought that this was like the biggest thing ever,
right?
And like 2008 to 2012 was only 4 years, and they created, Iron Man and then Iron Man 2, like the first, whatever. They made different varying movies, but they all like much, went into one as the Avengers. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So
it's so good.
That was our top 3. That went out pretty well.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to speed this up though, because I gotta leave at 5.
Oh man. All right. Well, I feel like for some of this stuff we can combine a couple questions here. So here's the deal. What is going on right now with the current state of Marvel? What's going on X-Men wise? Like, what's going on Sonyverse wide?
Yeah.
My God, what are these new trailers? The Madam Web trailer.
What's happening?
And the Agatha show. Is it Covenant Chaos? What is the name of the show?
What's it called?
I don't even know what it's called. And then what's the progress on Deadpool, and what are we? What are we thinking? What are we feeling?
Things going on right now, and then within the foreseeable future. A lot of people are saying that the MCU needs to reboot, and I'm looking around are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What do you mean everybody says they just need to restart and start back with Iron Man and Captain America.
No.
What? No. Are you kidding me? They literally worked so hard to get to this point where they have so many different characters. The last thing that they should do is reboot.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking with their current state and a lot of these things, they have glimpses of things that are good. The Marvels, actually has pretty good action.
I think so too.
I think it had great action. Loki season 2 had a very sincere and heartfelt ending. Secret Invasion sucked.
Yeah.
But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 had a pretty good movie. And then before that you had Quantumania, which was terrible.
Yeah.
And then Black Panther Wakanda Forever had some good thematic elements
sure.
that I enjoyed. So it's not that MCU is bad. Maybe they're doing bad at the box office and viewership.
Right.
But I think what they might do, and this is what harkening back to what we were talking about last podcast, is sports and whatever. They might fire their head coach. They might fire Kevin Feige and say all right, we need somebody new to do this, because clearly you haven't been bringing it the last 2 or 3 years.
And my goodness, wouldn't that turn the Marvel world on fire if that happened?
That would change so many things. But I think
it could be
legitimately it probably could happen.
Yeah.
What NFL team just fired their head coach? I think it was the Panthers.
Yeah, it was the Panthers. I'm happy you had to bring this up in the Marvel podcast.
But what, they went 2-12 or whatever or something? I don't know.
We're 1-10.
1-10, exactly. And then they fired their head coach. This is what you get for doing bad, is you fire your head coach.
It is true.
So that's what I was saying.
Going back to the reboot, that theory, I don't think it as much as a reboot that is necessary as a hard reset. I think that's...
But I don't know the differences between that.
So in my view of everything that's happening, what we're seeing being laid out for us to potentially be, whether we get a Young Avengers, whether we get a Secret Wars, whatever's going on. I think they need to get back to the root of what Marvel truly is. It's a story of someone that can do things to help other people.
Ooh, okay.
It's more, I think that from what we've seen over the past few years is Marvel characters basing everything they do off of their own problems.
Okay.
Interesting. And I think they need to go back to what was the Avengers about? Saving the freaking world. Yeah. And what was Infinity Wars about? Trying to save people to stop the blip. Mm-hmm. What was the Marvels about? It was about Captain Marvel trying to, fix what she did. She was that's the storyline. It's trying for her to fix something that she did. It's not about her. It's not a hero story. It's a me story. And I think that's where Marvel is screwing up right now. I think they need to go back to the original blueprints of what worked and hammer out these. You have access to so many great characters now.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me that we haven't seen them. I don't want to spoil things for people, but we did see a glimpse of an X-Men character, and when that was shown in the theater, you can ask my girlfriend, I was literally up screaming in excitement just to see the progression of what could be. Just to see something that is not holding me in this hole of Miss Marvel and freaking She-Hulk. I felt like a kid again. I was like, oh my God, we're back. We are back. And they need to deliver on that promise. And I think, I'm not trying to be some philosopher or whatever, but I think they need to go back to the message of what Marvel was instead of what it is now. And that's a kind of a weirder take, but I think that's their issue.
I think that sort of take is very interesting, because now I'm looking back, a lot of these things are just caused by just happenstance. Mm-hmm. What is Thor: Love and Thunder about? It's a god butcher, but he's not I don't know. He's not helping anybody.
It's about Thor trying to figure out what he's gonna do. It's what I'm saying, dude. You follow it. It is a thought to have in your head, because it's, I don't know, man.
So I think Marvel is in a very interesting spot where I don't think they should reboot at all. I think they should honestly continue and keep growing. Mm-hmm. But as long as they have a good head coach, a good executive producer at the helm, that honestly, Kevin Feige should have never allowed this many.
No, definitely not.
In just Phase 4 alone, there is more runtime and minutes created in their movies and TV shows than there has been the first 3 phases of the
Combined,
MCU.
right?
And combined.
Unreal.
And I'm like, how's that possible?
Well,
how's that possible?
I
How do you
will
allow that
say,
to happen?
to defend Kevin Feige a little bit here. There were no TV shows, and there weren't any like.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Okay, but I'm just saying there wasn't a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. There wasn't Werewolf, like stuff like that didn't exist.
Yeah.
So just to
I
give
know.
him the benefit of the doubt on a few things.
But he could have waited for I don't know.
Yeah. But
the idea, what I have a specific idea about what's going on with like the Sony verse and everything going on. So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has already like made ties with the MCU,
right?
Even with Donald Glover being the Prowler.
Yes,
I think that was like the biggest like peak in like, okay, so what are they trying to do? And then also the post-credit scene of like, I think the first or second Venom, of just like what's happening between the MCU and the Sony verse.
That was
like,
the second one, right?
Yeah,
and then
so like
he gets transported to the MCU universe.
Exactly. So it's like what's going on? A lot of it seems to be like centered around Spider-Man, which is I think interesting. And then if you remember, at the end of the last Spider-Man movie, he gets left alone and nobody like knows who he is.
Yep.
So they can do a restart on his character.
For sure.
So what I'm thinking is that with the X-Men coming in, I really don't know how they're going to do all that. But with the Sonyverse, with all these Spider-Man villains, if they merge the universes, then Marvel doesn't have to introduce any of these villains for Spider-Man to fight. They've already been introduced with their big blockbuster movies.
Yeah,
already.
for sure.
So if they merge MCU and Sonyverse, at least with Venom and whatever, then Spider-Man has a whole new cast of villains to fight.
For sure.
And all these villains are already people that people already know.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their plan is in the future, but at least I can theorize about their plan for Spider-Man.
Right.
I know they have a lot of things lined up, like Fantastic Four, like Avengers, Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty and whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm kind of like, I'm white knuckling here, and I'm holding on to figure out like what's going on with the next like couple of years.
Yeah, I'm in that same place. I'm also just holding on for dear life because I want it to be. I want that feeling again, man. I want that Infinity War feeling again. Like it. I can remember it so vividly. I just remember going home, watching everything I could, trying to it was just to be consumed by something that much. It is truly like a feeling like no other, and only a few things can do that, man. And I miss just being able to look forward to a Marvel movie and not going, oh, I guess I got to go watch this to understand the story.
I gotta go watch this, man. What the heck?
But I think from what I'm understanding about stuff, Kevin Feige cut some projects or has expanded projects just not to throw so much stuff at us.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited to see What If Season 2. I think that's going to be that'll be good for Marvel fans again because they went Loki Season 2, good. The Marvels, I think, good.
It was okay.
It wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen.
No, it wasn't.
And then if they could do What If, I love first season of What If.
Exactly.
It's so good, but if they could do.
And I don't want to cut you off, but there's also the Echo TV show that's coming up.
Yes,
as well.
Echo too.
I forgot. I don't know if that's coming out this year or later December or early next year.
Yeah, I'd love to see her character because then we learn more about Kingpin and then Daredevil, and then that's kind of that whole Spider-Man-esque kind of stuff that you can learn about. So for sure. I think they have some potential home run hitters coming up.
They do. Yeah.
It's just about. What are we gonna do to make it not like this crap? How are we gonna make sure that this doesn't do what She-Hulk did?
Yeah.
Because it's just I'm interested to see. Speaking of another thing coming up, May 3rd, 2024, I believe. Deadpool 3.
Yeah. It's the only MCU movie coming out next year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That is insane.
2025, they have 5 movies slated to release.
Here's my thing. Does this play in to that whole reboot Like, what's going on? Why is this the only movie in the year? Like, what are we cooking?
It has to. I think it has to play into the idea that they're adding so many new things, like the idea of Spider-Man villains coming in. They could also add in, Fox X, universe, and they've pretty much already done that somehow at the end of the Marvel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't even know how they've already done that, but they've already done it.
That's where they chose to do that. Out of everything, like we just had Loki season 2. Like all that is timelines and stuff.
Yeah,
and
all that is different branches. And exactly that's exactly what I'm saying. Loki bringing all the timelines, putting them together. It's like there's so many opportunities to just mix everything, and I think Deadpool 3 is going to be on like the massive scale of it.
Right.
Like that's going to be.
I think Deadpool 3 is going to be the biggest like eye candy thing. Not eye candy as in what it looks like, but to get people back into Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when that first Deadpool movie came out, like that's literally like the only thing like I heard about for months, and like I was just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But because it was just like this X-Men-esque kind of dude, and it's like it's funny in a sense where it's also serious.
Yeah.
And like they just did that character so well, and then Mr. Reynolds, we all love him. So
they're bringing in Hugh Jackman for the third one.
See, that's what I'm saying, right? Like I feel like this is like bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. They're like runners on third. You need a base hit or a dinger just to freaking survive.
They need something to work, and like we said earlier, like some of these things have worked, just not as well as they usually. Like 2023 is the first year that Disney has not made $1 billion movie since 2014.
That's unreal.
Like that's unreal, and I don't know if Deadpool 3 is going to be the answer to that, but I think what it could be is the answer to a lot of their like multiverse and storyline problems.
Right.
I wish I had like more ideas about like what that could entail, but I just at this point we're all just like, all right, show us something, Deadpool 3.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like we're here. What do you got?
Yeah. What's gonna happen, and that kind of goes into like what we're gonna see in the next like 5 years of Marvel. Like, what would you love to see? What would you love to see?
Wow, man. Personally, I am a person that knows what Marvel is capable of doing and what they're able to do with the resources they have. And now that they have accumulated so much stuff over the past few years, like we've said, they've gotten X-Men, they have their stuff with Spider-Man.
They're bringing Fantastic Four soon.
And that's where I was going to lead. I want Fantastic Four to literally just take over everything. I want it to be like that Avengers movie, like the first Avengers. I want that to be like the pinnacle of like not reviving, but just re-stimulating what this franchise is. And that is, we took this from a book made by a fantastic man, and we put this on the screen for you to see and for your kids to understand, because at the end of the day, they are targeted for kids, but we're
generally
we're adult kids now. So like I want Mr. Fantastic to be that Iron Man going forward.
That's an interesting point. Like you could have the next like main guy that to look into, and that's kind of how he is in the comics. He's almost like
exactly
right in line with
and then
Iron Man
then that plays all into where it looks kind of like they're going with the Secret Wars route, where we got Doctor Doom, and we have symbiote Spider-Man, and we got Tony Stark from a different timeline. And we have our Mr. Fantastic, and we're on Battle World, and the Young Avengers are looking out for the Earth while we're not there.
It's very possible that we get all of that.
And I want it so bad, but like, here's the thing: you have to have a good foundation before you do anything. And I think a good place to build that foundation is with someone like Mr. Fantastic. They screwed it up before. They screwed it up big time.
Yeah.
But I think they can, they could do it, because then we get Galactus and we get all the stuff, and oh my lord, I can't even express to you the joy that I'm gonna have walking in to see whoever's playing Mr. Fantastic in that movie. If it's John Krasinski, freaking
People
awesome.
Are saying Pedro Pascal.
If it's Pedro Pascal, fantastic. Just please, just make sure you go back to the blueprint that worked. Not saying it has to all be the same, but see what works and put it on the screen. Take the blueprint that was made back in the 80s and 90s. It's right there. It's on the paper.
It's right there.
It's right there.
Millions of people have seen it.
And people know what they want. If you see something in a magazine and you go to the store and it's not what you saw, you're not going to buy it. What's the difference between a comic and a movie?
The way it feels, I guess.
I guess so, but it's just... That
the way it looks.
Yeah, my next 5 years. What
a question.
My next 5 years is who's gonna be that next Iron Man?
Yeah.
And what's going on with multiverse, and let's get these characters going. Let's start building this stuff. You got it. Yeah. But let's also, like you said earlier, let's make sure everybody's on board. Let's make sure Kevin Feige is up to this, and if not, let's go find somebody else that's ready to tackle
find somebody else that would love to do this.
There we go. And so
I would love to do this
for sure. And I'm curious what you think. I mean, being a former Disney employee, I think your insight is just as good as about anyone. So I want to know what you think here.
I'm looking forward to a lot what Marvel has in store. I've been gradually moving off of Marvel, and I'm way more excited the future of DC. And that could be a whole nother podcast.
It could.
However, I think, like, reading up on a lot of things, Deadpool 3, I'm very, very excited for it. It could be like the top tier of things that I'm like, this is it. This is what I love. And then 2025, and the rest is Phase 6, and the future things that are already like announced. I'm really excited for Fantastic Four. I think that movie is hinged on its casting.
For sure.
I don't even think John Krasinski, and I don't think I like Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic.
Right.
I don't even know who I'd go for, but a lot younger people
for sure
for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts looks okay, but I think they're like the director just tweeted out, like, we're gonna take our time with this movie, especially now since we've like been set back a year,
right?
Which I love.
For sure. Oh, yeah, Blade. That was going to be awesome.
I'm so excited for that, because the first Blade movie is like the most unappreciated Marvel movie before the MCU. Like, it's so much fun. It's so good. It's so goofy, but yet so good. Yeah. Like, I love Blade. I love the first Blade. I'm really interested in what Mahershala Ali could play it. Although he's a little bit older, but I think Blade is an older kid.
Yeah,
older,
he gives old.
He seems like a lot more like mature guy. He's not a kid in any way, so I like.
He's a vampire killer, man.
Yeah, he's a vampire killer.
He is old. You got to be old to know that kind of stuff.
That is true. That is true. And then after that, we have Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and Avengers: Secret Wars. And I think it's so funny that the two movies before Avengers movies are the Thunderbolt and Blade.
Yeah.
No shame on them. That is hilarious. Like,
that's how you really build an audience for a massive comic. Just dump. You go, here's Blade, here's Thunderbolts, here's literally like everything right here. See what you know.
Then okay, so within the next month is going to be 2025.
Right.
And let's just say, like, I know Deadpool comes out in the middle of 2025 or 2024. Hey, what do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
As soon as Deadpool 3 comes, we have 4 movies until Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and that will be in within the next 2 years. This is 2026. I am very interested. I honestly don't want Doctor Doom. I don't want Galactus. I want Kang to be the main bad guy, because I think Thanos is the main bad guy of the Infinity Saga, and then Kang as being the Multiverse Saga. And then once, I'm assuming a lot of people are going to die, they scale it back down because Kang is way up here in like the things that he is a part of in the Marvel comics,
for sure.
And then Doctor Doom is like very powerful, but he's like the king of a country. He's not looking over all these different timelines. He's a down to earth villain.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably the most down to earth villain that we've had since like with Thanos and Kang.
Right.
And even stacked up at Galactus is all the way up here.
Right.
So I think if like they make a phase 7 through 9 or something,
Yeah.
Doctor Doom could be a very good villain for that.
Okay.
And then Armor Wars, it seems like a TV show. I don't really know what's going on.
I remember
with that.
seeing something about that, or I guess it was at Comic-Con, and I guess it's kind of
an.
Is it Ironclad, Ironheart? Is that kind of it's those characters?
It's like War Machine and Ironheart from
Wakanda
Black
Forever.
Panther. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that's. I think it's a TV show. What's going on with that? I don't know what's going on with that.
I honestly don't know either, man. It's just
I don't know.
Almighty.
And then another Spider-Man movie, another Shang-Chi movie, which I'm excited for,
Mm-hmm.
and then an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like all this stuff is very interesting, and there's a lot of TV shows I think sprinkled here and there.
Right.
I think like different season 2s of different shows or whatever. I'm excited for the future of Marvel, but
Amen.
golly, am I not more excited?
It's crazy to me
for
because
DC.
like I don't think I know that some movie franchises have their rough patches, and like Fast and Furious. Star Wars just went through one for a while, but Mando's it still is, if we're being honest. But Mando has really like resurrected that whole ordeal. But man, I'm still looking for something that grabs me by the hand and says, I am Iron Man. Something that's...
I think that's what Deadpool 3 is going to be.
And you know what? I pray.
I literally
pray
think it could
every
be.
night that Hugh Jackman just blows the stage and he just goes absolutely berserk. He has the yellow suit and that blue.
It's the first Marvel rated R movie.
Oh my Lord. If it's what it's looking like it's going to be, it is literally it'll change the whole projection
it could change everything about Marvel.
Because if this does good, they're they want to push their agenda, whatever, but they're gonna look at these little shows and they're gonna go like, why are we wasting our time with this when I can why not just go make something else like this? And they'll be like, all right.
Okay.
But
I think like
that all comes down to the people that are running the show. That's all.
Exactly.
It all comes down to that.
Endgame blew people's socks off,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, okay, we can do it even better, but they did it in a different form of Spider-Man No Way Home with just 3 main characters, but 2 characters we never thought we'd see again.
Nope.
Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, they blew our socks off, but it was not like a real universe that they were ever going to use.
Right.
And then Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, we thought that like, okay, this is going to be really interesting. With Kang, we thought Ant-Man was going to die. None of that happened. And then Deadpool, and then with the Marvel's post-credit scene, Deadpool 3 could be their chance to be like, all right, like this is our multiverse stuff going on. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
I mean, as a Marvel fan, you just have to look past the past and get ready for the future. And it's hard because we want what we had back then, but we don't want what we had recently. We want what we want in the future to be what, and I think, it just comes down to the people that are in charge, the characters they choose to build on, and just the overall, like, what are these movies for? Like, are we trying to hit a quote on money?
Yeah.
Are we trying to reach a different demographic? Are we trying to hit a political goal? Or are we just trying to make an action-packed, story-filled, character-building, excellent film that could revolutionize the film industry? Boom. Drop my mic. What are we doing? That's.
I think Superman Legacy is gonna be that movie.
Oh yeah.
I'm so serious when I say this, and hear me with all your mental capacity. From now on, other than Deadpool 3, and probably more than Deadpool 3, I am more excited than Superman Legacy than anything coming out in the next 2 years. And that is a fact.
And I can't even deny you that, because what has Marvel or any movie company put out recently that could,
could rival what could possibly happen in Superman Legacy. They've had all these casting choices, whatever, and I'm looking at the slate like Thunderbolts.
No. It's a cool concept, you know. We like Blue Ball, if you know, whatever.
It's kind of like Marvel Suicide Squad a little.
Yeah, exactly. So like
Captain America: Brave New World. I wish they would have kept the old title, New World Order.
Yeah,
that is so tough.
Yeah, that was tough. But the Illuminati told Disney
the
not
Illuminati.
to go through with that. They said, "Nah, not yet."
The Illuminati. Bob Iger's part of the Illuminati, and once that came across his desk, he's like, we got to change that. I'm sorry.
But yeah, that name was tough. I agree.
Yeah,
that was sick.
So tough. So I'm very excited for Deadpool 3 and the only Marvel movie coming out this year. I'm gonna say that I might just say that to my grandma. Hey, by the way, Deadpool 3 is the only Marvel movie coming out next year. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Well,
I'm gonna shout that from the youth tops.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think, you know, we've said a lot in the past hour, so I think people need to, and we've been talking fast. We're gonna bring it slow down to close it out here. We're just we're happy you guys listen. If you learned anything, you know, great. Just sharing our opinions on stuff. We're not experts, but we're also experts.
We are experts.
And so, you know, take everything with a grain of salt, what we say, but also we kind of know what's going on in a sense that we've put hundreds of dollars into these films, and some people even went to school to study films.
Not me. Not me. That was my minor.
Minor. But, you know, love movies and everything, and we love Marvel, and we're gonna ride with them as long as they're around, I guess.
DC supremacy, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I know you've always had that belief, but I think
DC up here, Marvel down here.
Yeah.
With anything and everything.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not there yet. Like you said, if Superman can draw me in, that might change. But for now, Marvel will always have a special place in my heart. Yeah. Thank you to the Russo brothers for freaking doing the greatest thing ever by putting that movie out.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to Tobey Maguire for being my Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield's a better Spider-Man than him, but that's okay.
It's whatever. I mean, I don't dislike Andrew, but I just can't look at a Spidey suit and see Andrew Garfield in it. He's some jacked...
Oh, I've done it numerous times.
Yeah, he's this jacked freaking dude. I'm in a Chanel commercial kind of guy. And then you got Tobey, got bit. You know, he's like a little nerd. He's like, you know, pizza time. That's Spider-Man. That's Spider-Man, and you know it, and we all know it. So there you go.
Oh my lord.
Anyways, thank you for having me.
It's been a good chat. I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I think next time we can talk about I'm not trying to bring up DC again.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a good idea to bring up all right, so we talked about Marvel, the current state of it, and the future of it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the current state of DC, what's going on, and then what's going on.
I'm not as well versed in DC, but I can hold my own, I believe, in DC talks.
There won't be a fight though.
DC Talks, a little Christian rap group.
All right, I'm hanging up, bro. I'm hanging up.
Yeah,
bro.
thank you for having me on. It's been fun. We'll have to do it again. Yeah. Yeehaw. All right. See, how do I send this to you again?
Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, having fun with me and Elliott talk about all things Marvel movies, the whole franchise as a whole, the Sony verse, the Fox X-Men verse. I really appreciate you guys talking about Marvel with us. I will see you guys in the next video or podcast episode. See ya.